Well, as many of you know, we were in Madison this past weekend at what turned out to be the largest demonstration in Wisconsin's history, some 120,000 people. Yet even as the protests continued, Governor Scott Walker was there signing into law the target of the protests, his controversial so-called budget repair bill. So what does happen now? I had a chance to catch up with Peg Lautenschlager, former Attorney General of Wisconsin, and Jim Hightower of the Hightower Lowdown. That conversation next.
Lord have mercy. Your man Scott, he surpasses all understanding. Not merely going after worker rights, but defunding badger care, gutting the rural school budgets, undermining rural communities. Apparently his idea of a good rural program is hee-haw. If he wanted to balance the budget, I've got a plan for him. He should set up a Dunkin' booth out here and put him and the Scott brothers in that, charge a dollar a head.
Why did you choose to come to freezing Wisconsin from nice warm Texas? What's coming out of this place that's important, do you think?
I think it is the possibility of a progressive movement that would move and put a little progress in progressive. And this has been spontaneous combustion, what's happening here in Wisconsin. Ordinary folks have been knocked down, workers, farmers, consumers, environmentalists. Wall Street gets richer than ever despite having caused the problems that people are facing. And then you get one of these little right-wing nutball governors like Scott Walker here in Wisconsin who overreaches, not just, messing with the budgets, messing with the people's income, but messing with people's rights. And Wisconsinites, as Peg will be more knowledgeable about than I am, but nonetheless, long history of rebellion here. This is the home of Fighting Bob La Follette and good folks like that. Midge Miller, whose son led the Senate walkout here. So there was spontaneous combustion. People said no and just showed up. And this rally today, 120,000, you say, whatever, it's huge, and nobody organized it. And that's real democracy. So why I'm here is because I think this is the spark of that can ignite a possible democracy movement in America. We've got one in the Mideast, so how about here?
The question of fight, Peg. Wednesday night in the State House here in Madison saw some pretty surprising actions in both the Senate and the Assembly. Talk about what happened and whether you think there's any legal recourse to challenge the bill that was passed, the so-called budget repair bill. As I understand it, the Secretary of State has yet to validate what happened. Is there an opportunity to overturn it?
Well, there are a number of opportunities. I mean, first of all is the bill itself. The bill itself is just an insult when it comes to trampling on the rights of human beings. And it strips many people of bargaining rights completely. It limits them just to the point of ridiculousness for some. And for others, a chosen few, it gives them to them. It's kind of a classic divide up the group and see if you can get them mad at each other rather than mad at what the real target is. So the bill itself has some problems. In terms of how the bill was passed, there are problems regarding like the notice that was given, things like that. Wisconsin has a very proud tradition of sunshine in government. We have public records and open meetings laws which guarantee citizens access to their government and the ability to watch what's going on. Here we had the Capitol closing down. We had limited access to the chambers while this was all taking place. We have looked like an armed camp outside for a while. And yet in 17 seconds they rammed through an assembly vote one night. Then they changed a Senate rule, which they say usurps state law, in order to move this to what's called a conference committee, an unnoticed meeting, I might add, at the time, which they claim no longer needs notice under our laws because of their rule change in the Senate. So everything happened in a way that was very draconian, that was very undemocratic, and truly disregarded the rights of each and every Wisconsin citizen.
So can it be challenged legally?
There will be legal challenges. There's one right now pending involving the open meetings violation. If that is challenged, they will be forced to go back and try to pass this law the right way. But secondly, there will obviously be challenges to the bill itself. As I indicated, it doesn't provide equal protection to public employees in Wisconsin. It certainly limits their First Amendment rights to both associate and speak. And to take this bill and not challenge it would be unfair to public employees and, in fact, the entire citizenry in Wisconsin.
There is a Supreme Court justice election coming up in just a couple of weeks here in April. Who's running, and how important is that race?
That race is crucial. Right now we have 7 members of our Supreme Court. 4 of them are political conservatives who are bought and paid for by conservative PAC fund and independent expenditure money. We have 3 progressives on our court, including our Chief Justice, Shirley Abrahamson, who is known throughout courts throughout the United States, as Jim could well attest. We have a race where one of the incumbents, the conservatives, is up for re-election, and we have a woman named Joanne Kloppenberg, a lifetime public servant, worked when I was Attorney General in my office doing environmental actions and the like. And if she is to be elected in April, it will change the majority in our Supreme Court, I would guess.
And could that affect the implementation of these laws we've been discussing?
Oh, absolutely. In terms of when the Court of Appeals get to our state Supreme Court, having somebody who will look at these laws fairly and not feel they need to worry about what the Koch brothers think will be very important for the people of the state.
So that's a legislative and judicial piece of the struggle, where it goes next. Where does the movement piece go next? Should people be coming to Wisconsin or doing something else?
Well, I don't know. I came to Wisconsin. Many national people are coming to Wisconsin. I think, I'm coming to absorb the energy. I'm going to take away a lot more than I'm going to leave here. But I will take away this spirit and try to multiply it. I just saw, as we speak here, there are people walking by who are part of this great rally here today, and I saw one go by and said, "Screw us, and we multiply." And that's the spirit that is here. I was in Pittsburgh about 3 weeks ago, had a big rally there at the Steelworkers headquarters in Austin, Texas, where we had one of the largest rallies we've had in a long time in Austin, in support of what's happening here, because what's happening here is happening everywhere. And so people are taking this energy, taking this spark that's been ignited here, and moving it forward. And it's up to us. So I can't answer it, but everybody who is watching this little piece and everybody who reads anything about it, you need to do something about it. It really is up to us. Don't look for something magic it's going to come out of this. It is what it is. It is very real. And there are great things here, too. It's not all just political and legal. There's a Move Your Money campaign here in Wisconsin, in which union members are saying to the banks that supported Walker, the governor, and this coup. Really, I mean, you spoke of it. It's really Czar Walker and the Politburo. I mean, this is autocratic and plutocratic. Sometimes, Laura, as you know, we have to dredge up old words to fit a new reality, and words like plutocrat and autocrat. That's what's happening here. We think of ourselves as a democracy, but we're not an economic democracy for sure. And we're not that much of a political democracy anymore. And that's why I think the people in Wisconsin rebelled, is that this is what America is democracy, little d democracy. And to have that, you've got to create it yourself. Bob La Follette, the famous the last great Republican governor of Wisconsin. He started out as a Republican, then later led the Progressive Party. Bob La Follette said that democracy is a life. It requires constant struggle. And that's what's happening here. There's a struggle, and it has inspired people all across the country, and I think it is going to make a huge difference. One, it has exposed the Koch brothers and that who represent the moneyed interest, and their power plays that are taking place all across the country, nationally, of course, as well as locally. And that's huge. We have to stay focused on power. That's the difference between populism and liberalism. Liberalism wants to mitigate the damage that's done by power. Populism says, let's deal with power.
You have to deal with power as a lawyer, as a person in the legal system. Nowhere does the power of money speak louder than in the courts. Talk about how to keep going and keep fighting, because many people are feeling the power of money in this election system did them in, and even though they fought, they still passed that bill.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and the beauty of this, as Jim was speaking to, is that this is a movement where people who are out on the street feel that they are calling the shots, that they are in control. They aren't needing to be told what to do by one group or another, but rather they are speaking, and together they realize they are speaking very loudly. So it's been fabulous to see. You know, I think your Jim's historic analogies are indeed correct. I mean, it's sort of a Russian Revolution thing with Nicholas II not realizing that the palace guard isn't for him anymore, and to watch what's happening out there and just the spontaneity of it all, and yet, despite all of that kind of uncontrolled enthusiasm, we've had just a remarkable day of peaceful protests, days, months. We've had a remarkable month of peaceful protests. And so to see people feeling as though they have a voice in their government again, even if, you know, the Tsar isn't listening quite yet, is really remarkable.
All right, thank you both. Great to talk with you. Talk to you again soon. Enjoy GRITtv? Want more people to see it? Well, we are making our show available free to public television stations. We need your help to express your opinion. If you'd like to see the show where you live on public television, call your local station and ask for GRITtv with Laura Flanders.